Today's Glory Days show. The Jets have a new head coach, and Rex Ryan has shuffled off to Buffalo. Rocky Klever will join us to talk about the Jets and the rest of the NFL.
And it's time to crown the conference champions in the NFL and find out who's going to the Uppersay Bowl Bay in 2 weeks.
The big game, okay? We'll have Greg Koehler reporting from Seattle and Pete Torgerson reporting from New England.
So grab a cup of joe, hang out with your pals and their friends as we go wall-to-wall football. Glory Days coming up right now.
EatRadio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, January 17th, 2015, and you are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is my good friend, Bruce Older. Kyle Melnick, Ken Nilsson, Bonnie Schultz behind the glass today, and you are joining us on the InRadio.com TV network, where we broadcast to the world from the InRadio studios at the Village Music Shoppy right here in beautiful Mastic, Long Island, in the great state of New York. Good morning, my friend.
How are you doing?
Doing okay. We had a nice time last night.
Yeah, that was good.
We went to go see a band. What was it? Are they on the record or off the record?
I think it's on the record.
On the record. So we went to go see a band last night. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun.
My brother Tony's brother-in-law Jeff. They do a nice job. They did the Time Warp.
They ended with that.
Which I always
like. It was
like.
their second encore, I think. That was good.
So today's going to be wall-to-wall football today. We're going to be talking to... We'll have our correspondents this week. We will be, we'll talk a little bit with our good pal, Rocky Klever.
Yeah, and just like last week, there's a bunch of, I guess, big stories that we're not going to cover. So let's talk about some of those just for a second or two.
Just for a sec. What are we not talking about this week?
Well, we're not going to talk about Ohio State winning the first college football national championship game, 42-20 over Oregon State.
And that game stunk.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you were a Ohio State fan.
Well, Ohio State, you think about it. I guess they were the fourth seeded team in,
Yes.
in that tournament.
That's
so
true.
Anything can happen. John Fox, the head coach from Denver, didn't stay unemployed long. I guess they reached a mutual agreement that he was going to leave the team after they lost last week. So he's going to wind up in Chicago. The Knicks keep on losing. I don't know. It's a 16 in a row now. I'm not even sure how many games
I think
it
it's
is.
15.
Yeah. So now they're 5-36. They just lost. They went over to London to lose 95-79. And Phil Jackson is saying, blame me. I guess he's trying to take the heat off the coach.
Well, who else are we going to blame?
I don't know. You know what I was really wanted to do, but I didn't have enough time? I was looking for Kool-Aid. I was looking for Kool-Aid because, you said if the Islanders win Friday night, which was last night, and they did, they won 6-3 against Pittsburgh, that you'd be drinking the Kool-Aid.
I've already drank the Kool-Aid,
Yep.
So this is a...
They beat the Rangers 3-0 on Tuesday night. They're really on a roll right now.
I'm officially at the point where I will be disappointed if they don't do well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Forget about making the playoffs.
No, that's right. They gotta advance. They gotta advance.
But I will be disappointed. And if normally you would say I would just be happy to see them get into the playoffs. Now I'm officially at the point where I'll be disappointed. I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, although, hey, they're the best team in the East.
You know what?
Why not
If we go back, and when we talked to Pete before the season started, right, I said the Islanders were going to win the Cup.
That's exactly right.
Of course, I was drinking the Kool-Aid well before you, my friend. Okay.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, it's good.
And so shall we get started? You got
Let's
anything
do
else
that.
that we're not doing?
Well, I guess I'll talk to Pete about the slew footing incident with Brad Marsh and and Derek Brassard when we get him on the phone. And Jack Del Rio, I guess he also wound up. He was the defensive coordinator for Denver. He left right after the loss too, and he wound up in Oakland.
I want to talk to, when we get to talk to Rocky later in the show, I want to talk to him about when a new head coach comes in, because he was there for both Walt Michaels and...
or as we used to call him, Fault Michaels.
Fault
right?
Michaels.
Fred Stew used to call him that.
All righty. So last week, the defending champion Seattle Seahawks had a pretty easy time with the Carolina Panthers, beating them 31-17 and earning the right to host tomorrow's NFC Championship game.
Yep.
It was a different story in Green Bay as the Packers sweated out a 26-21 win over the Dallas Cowboys, relying on a replay reversal of a crucial fourth down pass to Des Bryant that would have put Dallas on the 2-yard line, and they would have punched in the TD. Instead, the Packers get possession of the ball, they run out the clock, and Green Bay is going across the country to play in Seattle, which is a really difficult place to play.
12th man, right?
And that brings us to our first guest.
Wow, nice segue there, Disco.
I do that very well. He's become a frequent contributor on this program, and in addition to being a minor celebrity for his involvement in the FireJohnIdzik.com movement, he's also an expert NFL analyst.
Expert, wow. Okay.
Why not? Please welcome from the great state of Washington, the probably just waking up Greg Koehler. Greg, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. Hey, congratulations.
So are you just waking up or are you just getting in?
I've been up for a little bit. Okay. Now, I got 2 little kids, so, I get up nice and early these days.
There's a blurred line when you have little kids. There's no...
For sure. For sure.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Doing well.
Well, that was a fairly easy game last week.
Yeah, the first half was tight, right? But
Yeah.
The second half, that's what Seattle does, though. They play it tight in the first half and then come out in the second half and destroy you.
I mean, it would have been a real upset if they wouldn't have won, though. I mean, if you really think about it, right? I mean, Carolina was a 500 team,
Yeah, exactly. They were not a very good team.
But what surprised you? Did anything surprise you about the game? I mean, other than maybe, Wilson throwing for 3 touchdowns? He doesn't do that often.
No, he doesn't. I mean, the one thing that did surprise me is Carolina in the first half was able to run the ball. They almost ran for 100 yards, I'm pretty sure, in the first half, 97, I think. And then in the second half, they went away from that, which was kind of surprising. So you can run on Seattle, and that's what at Dallas, had they won the game, I think that they would have had a better chance this week to win this game than Green Bay will. But.
So let me just throw a couple of numbers out there to everybody. So Seattle has now won 8 straight postseason games at home. Okay. They've won 25 of their last 27 home games. Okay, they've outscored their opponent 62-7 in the fourth quarter in their last 6 games, and they routed Green Bay on opening day, 36-16.
Yeah, that's a lifetime ago, though, man.
Yeah,
game 1 of the season. We probably thought the Jets were going to be a good team then too, So remember, they did. The Jets won their first game, didn't they? They beat Oakland. So throw that one out the window there, my friend. Throw some numbers at me.
So what's going to be? Is there obviously it's a different Seattle team and a different Green Bay team than the first week of the year.
It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. The first week, Green Bay actually, Eddie Lacy went out in the second quarter of that game with a concussion.
Yes.
And I watched most of that game. He was running the ball very effectively against Seattle until he got hurt. And then they were forced to just throw with Aaron Rodgers, of course. And that's what Seattle wants to put you in, make you a one-dimensional team offensively. So Eddie Lacy's pretty healthy. They just have to. Green Bay has to be able to run the ball. I don't think they're going to win it if they're just going to throw it all over the place. They have major problems.
Well, I don't know if they can throw the ball all over the place. I mean, if you look at last week, I mean, it was a gutsy performance by Aaron Rodgers, but the first half he was kind of immobile. I mean, right. Even though he's a great quarterback, if he can't move, that's part of his game, And he's still a little bit nicked up. So I agree with you. If they can't run the ball against Seattle, I think Seattle's just going to pummel them. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference with Seattle and a lot of teams in the NFC, Green Bay is a soft team. They're just soft. They're all around soft. They're not a tough team, and Seattle is a tough team. And if you don't come in there playing tough football like the Rams do, or Arizona, or San Francisco, the NFC West are all tough. they tend to just feed off of that and just destroy you.
I got to tell you, that's bulletin board material, my friend. If you were playing for Seattle, that would be up in they're a soft team. Wow. Okay.
They're finesse. They're all based on finesse plays and passing plays. None of their receivers are big and tough. They get pushed around all the time. I don't see how Green Bay winning the game personally.
All right, well, let me give you a couple of Green Bay numbers, okay? They've won 12 of their last 14 games. That's a pretty good run in the NFL, okay? Last week, on an injured calf, Rodgers still threw for 3 touchdowns last week.
Look better in the second half for sure.
The Green Bay defense, which has obviously gotten much better, has only allowed more than 21 points once in their last 9 games.
Yep.
That's pretty good. They really have controlled the defense. And did you know that this is only the second time in NFC Conference Championship history that the game featured the top scoring offense, which is Green Bay, and the number 1 defense, which
No, I
is
didn't
Seattle.
know that.
That's
Well,
why,
it shaped
that's
out to
why
be-
you tune to this program.
It should be a good game. It should be a good game.
What do you? So obviously you think, obviously kind of silly to ask you who you think is going to win the game, but is there?
But we will anyway.
What can Green Bay do to either make it a good game or possibly win this game?
They have to control the clock, which means they have to run the ball, because Seattle is going to be able to run against them. Seattle in the first game, if I remember correctly, what they basically did was spread Green Bay out and just ran the ball with Lynch up the middle because Green Bay's defensive line is not very good. So they're going to control their side of the ball, no problem. Green Bay has to do the same. That's why I don't think they can throw it. They shouldn't really throw it. They should just rely on running the ball as much as they can. And look, I'm no Seahawk fan. To be honest, I want them to lose. I'm really in the game, but I'm betting that game. I'm taking Seattle on the points all day. I can tell you that.
All right. So now, last week on this program, we had Sammy Stone make a prediction, and he predicted that Seattle was going to win the game.
Okay.
So he was absolutely correct. Shall we go back to him?
Do we have a choice?
Sammy Stone.
Should have worn my shades.
Sammy Stone.
Brightness here.
Sammy
That's better.
Sammy Stone.
About time.
Tell me
Thank you. Thank you. About time.
Sammy.
Talking brightness here.
Sammy Stone.
That's better.
Sammy
Should have worn
Stone.
my shades.
All right, Disco, we got to cut him off.
Sure, one
Play that
more
music.
Sammy Stone.
Yo.
Tell me the future.
Okay, ask me.
Will Seattle beat Green Bay today?
That ain't gonna happen.
Well, it's not today, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow, but we'll take it
Invalid
anyway.
question. Okay.
Yes.
So he's right. They're not going to beat him tomorrow.
There you go. All right.
Yes, he was.
We would get a lawyer. He could get a lawyer that would definitely prove that in a court of law.
Yeah. All right, we got about a minute left. Maybe 2 minutes left. What do you think about the new coach of the Jets?
Well, I like it. I really do. Who knows what he's going to turn out to be? This is the off season, so for a Jets fan, we always win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're always roses and candy. So I like Bowles. You look at what he's done, and he seems to think outside the box. In Arizona, he sure did. He made it work with nothing but an injured defense and injured players, and he still had it all come together somehow. Where you can't say the same with Quinn. He has, the best defense in football. So you figure Bowles is a good coach. Cromartie seems to like him a lot. I think even Richard Sherman this week was quoted as saying he thinks Bowles is the best defensive coordinator in football. So
They're calling him the anti-Rex, is what they're calling him. And I'm not sure I quite understand that because he's like Rex, he's a defensive-minded guy first, I think. But I guess he's not as braggadocio. I guess is probably the proper term.
Well, when we get to we're gonna have Rocky Klever on later today, and when we talk to Rocky, I have 2 quotes: a quote from Rex and a quote from Todd.
Yeah, Rex was up to his old tricks up in Buffalo, wasn't he already, man? Gotta love the guy. You gotta love him.
You figure that shtick would run like dry eventually, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And it's like,
Well, listen, that's what made us love Rex here. When he came in and his first press conference and said he isn't going to kiss Bill Belichick's rings, Man, that just makes you want to jump through hoops.
And that's the only quote I haven't heard him say yet up in Buffalo, but it's early.
They
he just
did
got
ask
hired
him
this week.
They did ask him one quick thing. They said, "Are you looking forward to playing the Jets twice?"
Oh no,
next year?"
he said it's New England is what he said.
He says no. He says, "I'm looking forward to playing New England."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty, Greg, we got to go.
Great talking
Guys,
to you. Go.
And,
Thank you.
Thanks again. And if you guys win, we'll have you back on Saturday for our extra, and that's next Saturday, the following Saturday for our big game extravaganza.
Okay.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care, Greg.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate
That's Greg Koehler, who got up early in Seattle today.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Sleepless in
Okay,
Seattle.
there you
Gee, I
go.
didn't think of that one. We're just getting started here on the Glory Day Show. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the AFC Championship game between New England and Indianapolis. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Rick Willie. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're a punch in the But if you have this bracelet from nravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the InRavio.com TV network. The New England Patriots trailed by 2 touchdowns twice against the rival Baltimore Ravens, but were able to come back each time and hold on for a 35-31 win and a spot in the AFC Championship game for the 3rd consecutive year.
3 straight years.
That's unbelievable. Meanwhile, in Denver, we may have seen the last of Peyton Manning as the Indianapolis Colts and Andrew Luck punched their ticket to New England with a 24-13 win. On the Glory Days hotline is our good pal who's probably out shopping for lubricating supplies for tomorrow afternoon's AFC Championship game, which kicks off at 6:40.
So we're trying to get him on the phone now.
Okay. Oh, he's not on the phone yet.
He was.
Okay.
He's not answering.
I see. He's lubing up. He's living it up.
You know, he is going to the game, and my son James is going to the game too.
Well, last week we were talking about the fact, was he going last week, and they both said no because they were saving their money, I guess, for this week's game.
Yes.
And we thought that was kind of, I thought it was misguided, but what do I know?
But that's why they're New England Patriot fans. They're like Yankee fans.
Yeah.
They're very rarely disappointed.
I mean, that New England-Baltimore game was a great game. 35-31, I think you said the final was,
You know, they came down twice. But you know how much you think my son paid for tickets?
For this game?
For this game. They bought them on StubHub.
All right, $400?
Close. They paid $300 a piece.
Okay.
So they went Friday.
Yeah.
So they're staying Friday night, all day Saturday.
Yeah.
Then Sunday night, they're not coming back till Monday. I don't even know if they're going to make the game.
Let's hope they do. I tell you, the other thing about that game, though, was some trickery used by Bill Belichick, when he's lining up people and all of a sudden he's got an unbalanced line, and a guy that looks like he's a receiver is really a blocker.
Well, you know what it was? The interesting thing is, you know how in the NFL, if you're normally a lineman, you report in as eligible. Okay, and they make an announcement saying 73 is eligible.
Yeah.
This was the opposite.
It's the anti-eligible.
The tight end lined up on the line and reported as ineligible. Okay, to let the referee know that even though he's wearing a tight end number, he's not an eligible
And it wasn't
receiver.
just a regular line. It was like one guy that was way over on the side here or whatever. You know,
So
it confused Baltimore.
It confused Baltimore.
And John Harbaugh is whining. He's jumping on the field or whatever. You know.
Well, Harbaugh was saying they didn't understand. Again, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
They didn't understand that he was ineligible. So therefore, they were still keying on him, which left other people
That's
open.
right. And they went down the field. They split a seam, and a couple of plays later, they had a touchdown. You know?
Yeah. So.
But I think they used it 3 times. I think they said. You know.
Yeah,
But you figure after the first time, you know, you got to pull these guys together unless they do them 2 plays in a row, and maybe they did, and then maybe the third was only a couple plays later. But, you know, now, of course, you know, everybody likes to talk about Bill Belichick as a cheater. The guy did nothing illegal there, you know. All I can say is John Harbaugh is a big crybaby.
He is. He absolutely is.
Just like his brother.
It's not that they're cheaters. They're just, I don't know.
They test. Well, I don't want to say they test the rules. I mean, they understand the rules and they play within the confines of the rules.
Yes,
you know?
they do.
You have to take your hat off to a guy like that. You really do.
You know what? Absolutely. Because
at the same time, you can say it's diabolical.
Yeah, diabolical is a good thing. He's an evil genius.
You go diabolical. There we go.
If his head was
Diablo.
If his head was bald.
Yep.
I mean. Alrighty, so, you know, these two teams have a little bit of a playoff history, okay? Last year, Indianapolis won that wild card game, where they were down by so many points. They scored 31 points in the fourth quarter. They won the game. Then they go into New England.
Yeah.
And they got their butt kicked in New England. New England beat them 43-22.
Wow.
They had 6 rushing touchdowns in that game.
Oh, yeah?
LeGarrette Blount had 4 of them.
Not anybody from 50 Shades of Grey, huh? You know? Jonas Gray is not, he didn't even know what he's up to, man. You know? The last time they played, he had those 5 touchdowns, I think, is what he had. Either 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Now, this is the 3rd time that these two teams have met in the AFC Championship game, historically speaking. Okay? The last 2 times they met were Peyton Manning was the quarterback. And New England won 1, and they then went on to win the Super Bowl. And when Indianapolis won, they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So,
so there could be a little magic here, a little magic button to push.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Indianapolis won their game last week. New England, who'd they beat? Oh, they beat Denver last week. Indianapolis.
Yes.
Indianapolis went into Denver.
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning looked
it was not his finest performance, you know, and I guess, I think he said he wants to come back. I mean, I think they're still waiting to make some decisions. And immediately afterwards, John Fox and Jack Del Rio were gone, you know.
You know what
I'll tell you, that John Elway is like, you know, they talk about the new Jets GM being Mac the Knife, you know, I don't know. Seems like John Elway doesn't tolerate too much, you know.
No, not at all. You know what? This is a guy. I mean, look at the success that Denver has had over the last couple of years, and this guy got fired.
Yeah. Well, because both times, they didn't do it in the playoffs. It's like you said before. If the Islanders don't make some noise in the playoffs, you'll feel this is a bad year for them, right?
Yes.
And when you make when the playoffs is kind of like a given, and you don't go far, or you don't go to the big game. Okay, big game. I said it too. All right,
You said the big game.
Okay.
All right. So New England has lost only 3 home playoff games since 2000.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many times of those 3 has Pete Torgerson been in the crowd?
I don't know, at least one.
Is Pete on the phone?
No,
He's not on the
still not
phone.
here.
Okay.
He's
Come on,
ducking
Pete,
us.
work with us, man.
He's ducking us.
Let's bring in the Stone Man. I don't know.
Okay, so couple of numbers.
Okay.
Okay, couple of numbers. Only Pittsburgh and Dallas, who have been to the big game 8 times,
Okay.
have more appearances than New England. If they get there this year, this will be their 7th. Okay? They've never lost. The Patriots have never lost to Andrew Luck.
Okay.
They're 3-0 and have outscored him 144 to 66.
Well, Andrew Luck, he's just getting better every year is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's not the same Andrew Luck that they beat even last year, Yeah.
So,
but I'll tell you something. We have to talk about Tom Brady in this context too.
and listen, Brady has won 19 playoff games.
Yeah,
19 playoff games.
and he broke Joe Montana's record, man.
Oh, did
last
he?
week. Yeah, So I think he broke it. I don't think he tied it. But he's an all-time great quarterback.
Well, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Either Tom Brady or Adam Vinatieri, the kicker on Indianapolis, okay? They will advance to their 6th Super Bowl.
Wow.
I mean, big game. And that will tie the record for the most appearances in the big game.
Really?
I will give you right now $100 if you could name the player without looking at my paper.
Oops.
Who owns the record?
Who owns a record for most appearances? Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this much.
As a player.
He played for Buffalo,
All right.
who went to 4.
Yeah.
And then he played for the Broncos.
Buffalo and the Broncos.
I'm just doing this because we're stretching for time.
Yeah,
Because there's not a chance in the world.
Buffalo and the Broncos. Yeah. I was gonna, Thurman Thomas. No, it can't be Thurman Thomas. Can't be Jim Kelly.
It's that Hall of Famer Mike Lodish.
Oh, not Mike Lodish.
Mike Lodish.
Okay.
I have no idea.
What position
I couldn't
did he-
even tell you.
what
I don't
position
know.
did he play?
I don't know. I didn't even look him up.
You think Rocky knows him?
You know what? He might. Let's get him with that. Hopefully he's not listening. We'll get him with that one. So Andrew Luck, by the way, is trying to become only the 3rd quarterback to beat both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the same playoff year.
Okay.
You know who the other 2 are?
Mike Lodish?
No, it's not Mike Lodish.
Okay.
One of them is our own Mark Sanchez,
Wow. Mark Sanchez.
and the other one is Joe Flacco,
Joe Flacco. Okay.
who beat them both in 2012 and then went to the Super Bowl. And Mark Sanchez beat them both and then had a butt fumble
Yeah.
the following year.
Yep.
So, all right. So
So
I
who do you
guess-
like in those games?
Well, you know what? Last week, the Stone picked against New England.
Yeah.
And he was completely wrong.
So did we.
Yeah. The only one who was right last week was Pete Torgerson.
Okay. Well, that's right. And you're.
Sammy
On
Stone.
my shades.
Sammy Stone,
Yo,
tell me the future.
sure, ask away.
Will Indianapolis beat New England on Sunday?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Ooh, the Stone.
You said
Time.
You said Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, isn't it Indianapolis?
It's not. It's in New England.
No. Will Indianapolis beat New England?
Usually you go with the home team beating the visitor.
Let's
is what
not-
you do. So
let's
you know.
not quibble, shall
Well,
we?
so far you asked him what's going to happen on Saturday, and then you change the order of what you usually ask the questions of, man.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ready? Sammy Stone. Hey,
Why?
Sammy Stone,
That's right.
tell me the real future.
I speak English.
He gets very mad if you don't say the right command.
Okay.
Sammy Stone,
You got him.
tell me the future.
Am I missing something here?
Sammy Stone,
Good guess.
tell me the future.
You just gotta ask.
Will New England beat Indianapolis on Sunday?
I'm thinking, yeah.
See, it changes everything.
There you go.
All right, Sammy Stone, one more time. Tell me the future.
What, are you nuts?
Sammy Stone,
You got him.
tell me the future.
Okay, ask me.
Will Seattle beat Green Bay on Sunday?
Maybe, maybe not.
All right, he's being an annoying...
Non-committal.
He's an annoying Yankee.
Okay. Pull his batteries. Okay.
All righty. We're going to take another break here at the Glory Day Show. When we get back, we'll talk about the Jets and their choice for both general manager and head coach that owner Woody Johnson hopes will lead them into the future. And we'll talk about it with former Jets tight end Rocky Klever. You're watching the Glory Day Show here with Bruce and Disco, only on the NRadio.com TV network. We're coming right back.
Boom.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
What's up, guys? We're Scared on Fair, and we're here with InRavio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit them up online.
Welcome back to Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the InRavio.com TV network. On Tuesday afternoon, Woody Johnson sent out a text message to Jets season ticket holders announcing the hiring of general manager Mike McCagnon, who was previously Houston's director of college scouting.
That's Houston, by the way, not Houston.
Houston.
Okay.
About 4 hours later, news was leaked that Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator Todd Bowles had become the new head coach. So in 15 days, Woody Johnson and his consultants wrapped up the search for a general manager and a head coach.
Guess they were getting paid by the hour.
If they
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
On our phone is a man who knows more about football than anyone else on the planet and has been a frequent guest on this program. Please welcome Hall of Famer Rocky Klever back to the program.
Hall of
Rocky, how are
Famer.
you?
Yes.
I'm doing fine, guys. Thanks, and quite the compliment there.
Well, he is a Hall of Famer. The Alaskan High School Football Hall of Fame.
That's right. That's right.
There's nothing. We don't mislead people here on this show.
Is that the way you introduce yourself to people, Rocky? Hi, I'm Rocky Klever.
I've seen his business card. It says HOF on it.
Put HOF. That way, if they don't really know what HOF means, they're not interested.
So how are you? What did you think about all the Jet things, the Jet news this week?
I mean, that's, I didn't know what to expect. It sounds like, I guess they're good picks. I mean, it's one of those things since it doesn't really concern me too much unless they're going to start giving me checks. But I did get invited to some press conference. Well, I got an email from somebody in the Jets that says that some of the alumni are invited to, I guess, the main introduction press conference this next week.
Oh, wow. When is it going to be?
It's on the 21st, I believe.
Okay, that's Wednesday.
And they're saying they're going to give us more information if we actually want to go to it. But I don't know. What would I do at it? I mean,
why don't you go?
Maybe there's a free lunch, Rocky. I always like to go for the free lunch, man.
I didn't knew me that well because my motto basically, other than Hall of Famer, is if it's free, it's for me.
We have a friend who says that all the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, listen, you should go. You should bring a little camera with you and do interviews for us.
I remember you were saying last time we talked to you when you went to the Ring of Honor ceremony. You said you thought they called you because they weren't had to pay a lot to reimburse you travel-wise, right? You're just driving up the turnpike there, right?
Well, yeah, they basically don't reimburse me. They send me tickets and a parking pass and say, let us know if you can't make it.
I see.
Hey, if they send you a thing for a +1, call me. I'll go with you.
Oh,
I'll wear a dress if I have to.
Here.
Better than taking your ex-wife.
I'll put on a wig. I'll wear a dress.
Let's not go there.
Hey, listen. So back to football for a second. You've been on a team that had a change of coaching. What goes on when you go from one coach to another? What kind of things do the players look for, or what kind of changes are made?
Well, I mean, I think most of the players just hope they have a job and the guy likes them. But my change went from Walt Michaels to Joe Walton, and Joe Walton was already our offensive coordinator and ran the offense.
I see.
And I don't think Walt Michaels ever said more than a few words to me. And in fact, the first time he ever, and it may have been the last time he talked to me, was standing at a urinal. At Oak Beach? Come on, what's the restaurant out there? Oak Beach Inn? Or
the OBI. The OBI, yes. There was 4 of them, yeah.
So I go. We used to have dinners and things out there. That was really pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice out there.
I was standing at the urinal, and he stood next to me, came up, and I was like, oh, no, what do I do? And he said, kind of like, hey, I said, hi, Coach. And I had to introduce myself. So I said, Klever. And he goes, oh, yeah, Idaho tight end. And I said, no, Montana running back.
Yeah. Live in your own private Idaho, man.
Yeah, he looked at me, he looked down, and he finished up, shook it, and left. That was it.
Did he wash his hands? Was he practicing proper?
He didn't shake my hand. I was worried. What happens if he sticks his hand out to shake my hand?
Exactly.
I mean, he shook what he was doing.
So Walt Michaels was not a hand washer.
Okay, yeah.
No.
The things you learn on this show.
Sure.
No,
So,
just kidding.
were you wearing number 30 back then or number 89 there, Rocky? Because you wore number 30 in 1983, right?
Yeah, it was 30. I was a crappy fullback.
Well, maybe back then he knew that you were going to be a tight end.
That's what I think, even though he wasn't the one that moved me to tight end. But yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep.
There was a little bit of irony in it, but
Well, he was
and
a.
then
Go ahead.
Richie Kotite was kind of my position coach. So Richie was kind of like the offensive coordinator, even though Joe Walton still ran the offense, like a lot of offensive coaches do.
Right.
But, so I already knew him, and it worked out great because both he and Richie and Zeke Brakowski kind of liked me as a tight end. So that was kind of there's a lot of luck involved, and I'm happy to have been lucky in that situation.
There you go.
Well, Walt Michaels was more of a defensive coach, right? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Joe Walton was an offensive coordinator that got promoted to a thing.
But like you say, I mean, it's really, we don't know how these guys are going to work out. Everything seems good on paper. I mean, he went through a process. The consultants said these guys are good guys, and there seems to be enough people that are saying these are good football guys too that they've hired. So hopefully they turn things around. As you said. A lot of times it's just clean house, and I guess that's what happened with the Jets. Really, I think I read that Rex Ryan's taking all those coaches. They're all going to the Buffalo. I thought.
Yeah, a lot of them are going
to
to Buffalo. Plus, like you said, McCannigan is he got rid of Bradway.
Yep.
So it's a new start. It's a new start for the organization, and I guess it's a fresh start. I mean, if you're a player on a 4-12 team, I think you got to be a little worried.
Well, that's right. I mean, they were asking one of them, and they said, "Listen, man, we were 4-12. Changes had to be made."
Yeah.
Because they're talking about, the Rex wound up in Buffalo, and it should be some entertaining games between the Jets and Buffalo, even though, like you say, his sights are still on, Bill Belichick, and New England Patriots.
Well, I did see Rex. Well, what did he say? Buffalo's got the fourth best defense, and now they're going to be the best defense.
Yeah.
He's up to his old tricks, man.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
He says fourth in the league was probably a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I know we will lead the league in defense. Now, again, that's what made us love Rex when he came here.
Yeah.
That bravado. Now, in the beginning, he was able to back up most of it. The Jets had a great defense. They had the number one defense, And he said, I just want to give you a quickie quote. He says, we're not going to let our fans down. I know it's been 15 years. We'll get ready. We're going. We're going to build a bully, and we're going to see if you want to play it for 60 minutes. What a great thing to hear, And then you compare that with what the Arizona coach,
Todd
Bowles said.
What did he say?
Well, Bowles had a little bit of a different take to it. He says, I'm going to do everything I can to build a consistent winner.
Okay.
That's what he said.
So not quite as braggadocio,
That's the whole thing. I mean, football.
It's a humbling game.
Now, obviously, I never played football, other than just fooling around and
I
playing.
know that's obvious, but okay.
But football, I believe, is a mental game as much as it's a physical game. I mean, everybody is physically capable of playing the game, or they wouldn't be at this level. So. Everything else is mental. It's your attitude. It's what you feel like. And the great coaches make the players crazy and make them want to go through a wall for them.
I remember Roy talking about when the Jets hired Rex Ryan, and I guess they were doing a season ticket blitz or something like that, or they were trying to get, kind of rally the fan base. So he said that Rex Ryan, it was probably a taped message, but He called him, and he said at the end of that message, I felt like running through a wall for Rex Ryan, is what he said, And I'm sure that's the way the Buffalo fans are feeling, the Buffalo team is feeling right now, too.
Right, you're exactly right. And just going back to that, a lot of guys can run through walls, but you do need the guys that have that little extra. Like I always say this about Freeman McNeil. Freeman McNeil would run the ball, and a guy would go to tackle him from behind, and he'd make a move on the guy that was behind him. And it's just like, does the guy have eyes in the back of his head?
Well, Go
sort
ahead.
of thing where the hair stood up on his neck, and he thought, I'm going to get caught, But Rex kind of has all, that's a pretty good team for him to go and coach. And I don't know if he's going to make a big deal about looking for a quarterback or make that Emmanuel kid better.
Yeah.
And Orton did a great job, and who would have ever thought he was going to be a quarterback in the league?
Right. Well, they were talking about New England, and he said, we're not afraid of anybody, certainly not them. I respect them, and I recognize the fact that they've won our division in 6 years and 10 of the last 11, but that doesn't guarantee they're going to win it next year. And that's very true.
Yeah, but getting back to what Rocky was saying, I mean, to me, I think Rex Ryan is in a similar situation than he was in with the Jets. You know, he's got a good defense, but he doesn't have a quarterback. He really doesn't, you know. And you got to win with a quarterback in this league. You look at the 4 teams that are in the Final Four here. You know, they all have great quarterbacks. Nobody's getting by just on defense. They got great quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
Well, Rocky, you and I talked earlier this week, and you said you were surprised that he landed a job so quickly, Rex.
Yes, I was. Only, the New York media was a little tough on him. So maybe around the country, people think he's really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he did have some good seasons, and quite frankly, I don't even know if he cares about who the quarterback is. I think he's got a fairly big ego to where he's like, the quarterback, I've got 11 guys that can play defense that are all better than the quarterback. That's all I need.
Well, that's what got the Jets to 2 consecutive AFC Championship games, a great defense and a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball
That's
over.
right, takes care of the ball. Yeah.
Now, would you rather have Sanchez or Orton right now? That would be a toss-up. I mean, who you'd go with?
Yeah. One of the interesting things I read yesterday about Rex Ryan was they said, he had said this is going to be his last head coaching job. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said this will most likely be my last head coaching job. But somebody said that if he doesn't do well in Buffalo, it's going to hurt his chances of being an NFL analyst. They felt because right now everybody thinks he's this defensive genius, and everybody feels that nobody kind of blamed him for this year.
Yeah.
Most of the blame was on Idzik and the personnel. But they said if he goes to Buffalo and he doesn't do well in Buffalo, then they think that might hurt his chances for being an analyst.
Well,
I don't think he's thinking that far ahead.
What's that?
My 2 words are Matt Millen.
That's true. He was a terrible coach up in, what was that, Detroit?
He was also an NFL analyst.
The GM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 words, Matt Miller. That's a good one.
All I know is I would enjoy watching an NFL game with Rex Ryan as a commentator.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think he's ready. I think he would have become the next John Madden.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to sit and drink a beer at a bar and watch a game with him.
Oh, my God. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
It'd be more than one beer, though.
All right, so what do you think? Let's get your quickie predictions of the 2 games today. Let's talk about tomorrow. Talk about New England and Indianapolis.
Well, I have to preface this with I always just go with who I want to win. I don't get into, I'm an expert in who I think is going to win. So I want the Colts to win.
Okay.
I really like Brady and Luck. And I like Belichick.
But what does Indianapolis need to do to win this game?
I really think luck, a lot of luck is involved, pardon the pun, or pun intended, however but, sometimes the ball gets tipped and it's a turnover, and before you know it, things get away from you. Last week, all those games were pretty good. Even Cam Newton looked like he was going to be good.
Yeah, sure. At least the first half was a good game, yeah.
And then, the wheels kind of fell off on him. And that's kind of my thing with quarterbacks. Cam Newton versus Russell Wilson, they don't ask Russell Wilson to do as much as Cam Newton.
Yeah, right.
He's got a great defense. And this team seems to win with him throwing the ball 20 times. And then Cam Newton has to throw it 40 or 50 times, and, it's just too much risk there. But I do like the Colts mostly because there's a kid from Montana playing on their team.
Okay, it's always an ulterior motive there. And then, so who do you want to see win between Green Bay and Seattle?
And that's a tough one because I grew up in Oregon, so that's kind of close to, I don't know if you guys know the West Coast, but Oregon is close to Washington.
Yeah, it's right below it, yep.
Yeah, there you go. So I know you guys basically never leave the island, do you?
No, we're not
You
allowed.
Yeah,
It's a legal thing.
You don't know what the toll is. You're like, what the hell? I'm never leaving again. So I like Seattle, but I like Aaron Rodgers as well, because Aaron Rodgers reminds me a lot like Kenny O'Brien, that he's so relaxed and he laughs, and if something goes wrong, you see him laughing about it. And even though fans hate that, I kind of like that.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, I'm going out on a limb.
Okay.
I'm going with Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay too.
I think Green Bay upsets them. And as much as I'd like to see Indianapolis win, I don't know. New England showed me something last week, coming back from 2 touchdowns twice.
I agree. I mean, but, you know, the good news is that when you got the last 4 teams, they're all good teams. They should be 2 great games, hopefully.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, it's nice to see. I mean, 3 of the teams were 12-4.
Yeah.
And the other team was 11-5.
11-5.
So
Yeah, that's good.
The NFL got it right this year so far. You know?
Okay, so Rocky, maybe we could talk to you after you go to this press. You going to this press conference or not next week?
I very much doubt it.
Okay, all right, then we can't call you in for that one.
Then let me have something with your name on it, and I'll go as you.
Well, I don't know if I'd want that actually out there.
All right, Rocky,
All right,
great
man,
talking
listen,
to you, my
we'll,
friend.
We'll talk to you in 2 weeks on our Big Show Extravaganza, Saturday before the big game.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All
Thanks,
right, man,
Rocky.
thanks a lot.
Take care.
That's our that's a real football player there, Rocky Klever, getting in on it. All right, you've made it so far, so hang on for the finale. We'll take a short break, come back, wrap things up. You are watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the NRadio.com TV network. Coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Welcome welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the NRadio.com TV network. As we turn in the home stretch, what have we learned today?
It's interesting you asked that. Okay. Because I didn't learn too much. No, I learned a couple of things. I guess I learned from Greg Koehler that Green Bay is soft. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not sure I agree with that, but...
well, that's what they think. They apparently in Seattle, they think Green Bay is soft.
I guess we'll find out for sure tomorrow.
And I also learned that Greg Koehler, even though he's in Seattle, does not like the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's hoping they lose this week.
Yeah. Well, he's a Jet fan. I mean, he's a passionate Jet fan, so that doesn't surprise me.
He just happens to be 3,000 miles away. So.
It's job related.
And I also learned that Walt Michaels may or may not wash his hands after he urinates.
That's not good.
Well,
let's make a public service announcement now, okay? Because we both work in the healthcare industry, and they say the most important thing that you can do to stop the spread of disease is wash your hands,
and
especially after you go to the bathroom, man. Come on, Walt, what the hell is wrong with you?
And do you know how they tell you that you're supposed to wash your hands? How long? No, how long?
No, you're supposed to sing the Happy Birthday song either once or twice. Okay,
just sing the Happy Birthday song once while you're washing your hands.
Okay.
And that's how much you need to do.
All right.
Do you wash your hands?
I always do.
I'm just asking.
I always do. I only think about that Seinfeld episode. Jerry, I'm gonna make you.
Poppy.
I'm gonna personally, cook your duck.
Oh boy, it was interesting to know that Rocky Klever and the Jets, including Walt Michaels, have been to the OBI South.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it might not have been the South, because you know what? A lot of those guys, I wanted to ask him this, a lot of those guys lived in Point Lookout. So the OBI West was over there, in Long Beach.
Could be. Also learned that Pete Torgerson apparently does not take his phone with him everywhere he goes.
Well, he might have I think he just forgot it. I'm sure he does.
Pete did call to apologize.
Yep.
We'll
talk to him next week about the slew foot, that Brad Marchand laid on Derek Brassard.
And we'll get to Pete next week. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Hopefully, enjoy the game, Pete, this week, and I think you're going to be hooking up with James at some point during the for the tailgate.
Look out for him, please. It sounds like they're probably off on a bender already, man.
They've been lubing up since Friday.
Wow. Yeah.
But anyway. Okay. All righty.
And Rex Ryan is still Rex Ryan, right?
In case anybody's wondering what we mean by lubing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom Brady coined the term lubing up for drinking before games. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
What do you mean?
That young boys are not going to be lubing up for Pete Torgerson in the wrong way, okay? That's all we're trying to say.
Okay.
All righty.
Too much information there, okay? I think we're getting the hook, okay?
Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick and Ken Nilsson, and the lovely and talented Bonnie Schultz. Thanks for joining us this week. Thanks to our hotline guests today, Greg Koehler, Pete Torgerson, who didn't make it, and Rocky Klever. And thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week, and now year after year.
Yeah, 4 years, right?
And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. And don't forget to check out the Glory Days on-demand page at www.inradio.com to watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the inradio.com TV network. Enjoy the NFL's Championship Sunday tomorrow. Stay safe. Stay safe.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Take care.